let's change directions. Something we haven't talked about in quite a while, it feels like.
Yeah, it's
And
been.
let's switch gears to baseball. MLB stuff, man. And we'll keep it short because we're just gonna ease back into it. But I was thinking, we're midway through the year. Yeah. We're also midway through baseball season.
Yeah.
Which feels like I feel like we just had spring training out here in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Which was just it's chaos for those that have never experienced it out here.
Yeah.
And my office is really right across the street from one of the major training facilities that's out here in Scottsdale. That being said, man, I think we talk. How about we go how about have some big surprises that we've seen so far, and some big disappointments. Want to take the wheel?
So I mean, the biggest. I don't know if we want to call this a surprise, but I was pleasantly surprised of how well the Yankees have adapted to acquiring Juan Soto. Getting him integrated with the team, and that 1-2 punch of Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. That's got to be up there as one of the all-time 1-2 punches there is.
That's a great
I'll put that against anybody. Judge, his month of May was absolutely historic. I mean, he had 14 home runs throughout and then absolutely, how many? He had 4 home runs against San Francisco
the Giant
this
game,
past weekend. Just to put that in perspective, his 14 home runs equals Shohei Ohtani's total for the whole year. Aaron Judge has 21 home runs.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so it's looking like he's going to have another 50 home run season. Juan Soto, it feels like whenever he's up to bat, he sees red. He's going to zap one out to left field, go oppo. And he's just so clutch. Whenever you need, and I'll say this, Aaron Judge, for how great he is, the one thing where he's not so great is hitting in the clutch. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Juan Soto, no.
He goes off. He has these moments where he just goes off when it's not necessarily needed. Yeah. He just has these moments where he gets 2-3 home runs in a game, but when it's bottom of the ninth and you got two runners on, he's not. I will agree with you as far as the clutch aspect of it. He does have his moments where he not necessarily chokes, maybe just underperforms.
we can use choke. Hey, okay. Nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
But Juan Soto, he is everything you want in a superstar. He comes in clutch every time. At 19 years old, look what he was doing with the Nationals against the Astros. Man, he's my hero, man. He's
I like watching him play, and it's funny because he's such a power hitter.
Yeah.
And he's consistent power hitter.
Oh yeah.
And the dude seems to be able to place the ball wherever he wants it. If you watch his swings, it's he knows exactly where he's placing that damn ball if it's not going out of the stadium.
He hits rockets.
He does.
Yeah.
It's call NASA because that shit's going off the radar. But the one thing I like about Juan, since we're talking about the Yanks, is he seems like he's very mild-mannered. He seems like he's just a cool, chill dude when he's not on that plate.
He has that silent confidence.
Yeah.
He knows he's a man.
Yeah.
He doesn't need
That's a good way of putting it. I like that.
He doesn't need to say. He just lets his play do the talking.
Yeah.
So,
I like that.
I mean that was a pleasant surprise. A couple of their pitchers, Luis Gil and Clark Schmidt, 2 guys that were kind of fringe starters, having amazing years. So I thought they were gonna be good. I didn't know they were gonna be 42, 19, 60 games into the year good. So they're on a toward pace. They're gonna get 100 games, no question. And talking about disappointments, I mean, you kind of have to look at the 2 teams that were in the Fall Classic last year.
D-backs
and the Rangers, both teams that are under 500. It's looking like if they're gonna sneak into the playoffs, it's gonna be as a wild card team. So you're kind of disappointed. You're thinking, oh, these teams are gonna build off that year. Have a 90 or 100 game year. It's not looking like that. So, but I get it. I mean, the Rangers, you just won a championship. Those championship hangovers do happen.
We've seen it time and time again.
Time and time again.
We've seen it consistently. It's kind of a joke too, but man, it really is a truth. There's a truth to that kind of shadow forecasting. It's almost like the Madden curse. It's like if you're on the you're on the cover of Madden, you have the worst year ever. Obviously, the Chiefs changed that.
And you know which team was the last team to go back to back, or back to back to back? The New York Yankees.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking football for some reason. I was thinking Madden. I don't know where my head was at there. Yeah, baseball. Totally.
We're talking baseball.
I know, but I got excited thinking football, man. Sorry, my bad.
And then the last thing I want to talk about is the Blue Jays. You know, I expected them to be, you know, having Vlad, having Bo. I thought they're gonna be that, you know, young, you know, exciting team to come out of the AL East. But it's been the Orioles actually that have just come out of nowhere and just kind of prove that, hey, we're the next team coming up, or we got a lot of young guys, a lot of studs on the team, and, you know, hopefully, you know, be in contention for World Series. And so I'm disappointed in those teams, but I mean, what about you? Was there any teams that you thought that like?
Yeah, actually there is. I like you brought up the Orioles because surprisingly enough, they have some of the highest scoring games collectively in all of MLB this year. I mean, we've seen some 19 and 20-point games, but just their score.
Yeah.
Like, they put out some damn numbers. But as far as I'm concerned, my surprises, obviously I'm rocking my Kansas City Royals hat right now. So seeing them in the AL Central, 3 games behind, to be doing this well when every analyst, every announcer, every, you know, baseball pro had the Royals being in the bottom of this conference from the jump. So to see them in second place right now, 3 games behind first, I'm super stoked. And they've been, you want to talk about a team that's been dismantling teams? The Royals have been 11-1, 9-2, 13-2. I mean, they've been destroying it. They're on a kind of a soft streak right now, or a soft loss streak right now. But they've been just dismantling people. So 3 games back is really exciting for me. Yeah. I didn't think they were going to break 500. That's obviously not going to be the case. I think we're going to see a really good Royals team come out of this year. Yeah. As far as like some disappointments, you know, calling out the D-backs, very sad to see that. I'm obviously not a D-back fan, but obviously our job is to talk about everything that we can, and to see them kind of struggling right now is very upsetting and kind of disappointing. I think you called out the Blue Jays. I agree with that. 2 other teams that I think that we haven't really that surprised me were also the White Sox and the Angels. You know, both of those teams are at the bottom of their divisions. So they also kind of disappointed me as far as what my thought process was coming into this season. I expect to see way more out of the White Sox, way more out of the Angels. Not seeing it. And then the team that is probably surprising me the most has got to be the Phillies. They have a commanding lead in the NL East. I mean, they're just destroying everyone in that division. So I think they're absolutely phenomenal right now. They're on pace to be definitely a World Series contender, which will be one of my questions to you here in a minute. But I'd say the Royals, the Phillies,
Angels.
Well, the Royals, Phillies would be the 2 surprises that I'm actually happy about, and then obviously the D-backs, the Blue Jays, the White Sox, and the Angels probably the biggest disappointments, I would say, if I had to rank them there. But
okay, so like half the teams.
Well, 6. So I went 2 surprises, 4 disappointments. My bad. So
fair enough.
But you know, I'm an AL guy too, so I tend to be more optimistic on the AL side and more pessimistic on the NL side. So but that's just a weird thing for me. So I mean, since we're talking about it,
since we're on topic,
you know, we are midway through MLB season. You know, World Series in October is right around the corner, even though I feel like it should slow down. But you know, what are your takes on who are some potential, as it stands right now, some future bets that you would put out there for World Series? We'll just say World Series. You know.
So I think, and I might be biased, but man, I'm really liking what I'm seeing from the Yankees. To be in the position they're at without their best pitcher, the pitcher Garrett Cole, who, mind you, won the Cy Young last year in the AL, he hasn't even pitched a single inning, and it's insane. They're starting rotations, the best in the biz.
Their bullpen is deep too. Like your guys' bullpen is sick.
Really, like, I'll be honest, we really have no weaknesses with our team, and so I'm sorry, I have to go with my team. You know, I'm wearing the hat too. It's they're the best team. The only other team that maybe, man, I really like the Guardians. Who knows?
I like Cleveland.
That's a team that could just goes under the radar, and then randomly, they just go on a hot streak and they go all the way to the World Series. And then when it comes to the NL, there's always a surprise team. There's always a team that they just come out of nowhere. Obviously they're in the playoff picture, but you never think like the D-backs, for example, or the Phillies. People forget when they made the World Series, they were a wild card team. Nobody really thought that they were gonna make it. They thought maybe the Braves, the Dodgers, the Brewers. I'll be honest, that's a random team. I don't watch a whole lot of Brewers baseball, but that's a team.
They're on top of the division right now.
That's a team where, dude, I mean, they've had so many disappointments over the years, and I feel like they're bound to just get lucky and just make it to the World Series. And it's just such a weird pick. It's mostly with my heart than my brain, because obviously the Phillies are better than the Braves, the Dodgers, but I don't know. The Brewers is such a crazy pick that I think will happen.
You said almost every team other than the one team I was really wanting you to say. That's my Royals, even though they are second in the AL Central.
I don't know.
I know you don't. But they can do it. I mean, look at 2015. They came from the bottom of the barrel to work their way all the way up to go to the World Series run. Then comes back the very next year to win it. And
there's always a wild card team
from
each that makes it somehow. And so, you make a good point.
I like it. So, I mean, I like the Yankees, Phillies. I like the Royals, Brewers. I like the Yankees, Brewers. I like. I mean, there's a couple of scenarios there I see happening. I would really like to see my Royals in it. Obviously, one of our teams is going to make it there. So, but I would really love to see the Royals. But I think the Yankees have a way better statistical chance of being there than my Royals do. But hey, I'm rocking the Royals hat. He's rocking the Yankees hat. We'll see what happens.
I think it's funny we didn't even mention like the Phillies, Braves, Dodgers, and I mean I don't know, man. Like,
the Phillies were my biggest surprise.
Oh, that's right.
The Phillies were my biggest surprise.
Yeah, the Braves and
Dodgers, they're kicking ass in their division right now, man. They're just kicking ass.
I mean, I can see Braves and Dodgers obviously, but I don't know. I feel like with the NL,
they're in the middle of their divisions right now. I think they could go either way. They can either slide or they can excel. But you got a lot of teams that are leading the divisions right now that are just playing great fucking baseball.
Baseball.
So, anything else around baseball? I know we just eased into it. I know by the time we get to Wednesday, we got a lot of games that we can start to cover, get a little bit more deeper. Obviously, I want to start covering a little bit more of like the picks, because baseball picks have been a big part of the VIP picks on WrestleFactor.com's website. So I want to start getting into some of those bets and start calling those out. We went 19 of 20, 21 of 22. We had a 22 of 22, 22 of 22.
Massive numbers.
Like, we went hard, the last couple of weeks, and so I really want to start diving into those and giving the listeners and subscribers a chance to really kind of, make some money, be able to utilize what we're saying here to capitalize and pad that wall a little bit.